this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. All praises to Kali Ma. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. So this video is about how you can heal yourself by recognizing the potential problems you may have in your chart by looking at the planets. Now, in the study of Ayurveda, which is one of the most ancient ways of medicine, holistic medicine, which is actually from the Vedas, just like Jyotish is. And we use astrology in order to recognize these potential problems and heal them. We can also heal them by plant medicine, or we can heal them by sound, which is mantras. This video is about what the planets can potentially do and how they can affect your health if they are badly placed. Now, once you look at your chart and you realize what the planets can create, then you can look at your symptoms and think, wow, okay, maybe I can do this mantra to Saturn, for example, and that will help heal my body of this ailment. Just a disclaimer, I am not a doctor and I am currently studying Ayurveda, but I am not a Ayurveda doctor. I wouldn't say I'm an Ayurveda doctor at all. Just a disclaimer because I know how society is and how the internet is when you're talking about health. So that's just a small disclaimer. Another way of using this as well is if you look at the planets and the potential problems, these problems will most probably arise during the dasha of that planet or antardasha. They can also arise with conjunctions to these certain planets. So you will be able to look back and see what kind of health problems you had, and you'll be able to recognize what brought that on. And by knowing this, then you can also see how long it would last. But by doing the mantras, which is a frequency, aligning yourself and balancing the frequency within, because all the planets equal the chakras, once you do that, you can actually eliminate this. And I know a lot of people say in the Western medical community will say that's impossible, but that is actually not true according to the most ancient ways of healing. Let's start with Saturn, for example. Saturn is a significator of disease, of sickness, of old age, because it represents time. And what happens with time is decay. It can produce chronic and wasting diseases. So anything that has low vitality. Saturn is an old planet. It can have weak digestion. There can be poor resistance to disease as well. So it's overall depression within the body because Saturn is limiting. It's the mental energy and it's also the hyperfunction of all organs in the system. It's diseases that happen by accumulating too much waste within the body and not able to discharge them. So that can be a lot of toxins within the body. So it can cause numbness, stiffness, rigidity. It can cause spasm, tremors, and pain. If there's an affliction with Saturn and Mars together, that can result in surgery. It can result in your body being either disfigured or the organs having to be removed. So that could be in the chart or that could be during a conjunction as well. Saturn-related diseases include arthritis, rheumatism, aging prematurely, deafness, failure of vision, tremors, deformity, and poor growth. It causes a deficiency in vital fluids, infertility, impotence, and dehydration, and also pain and itch can cause as well. When you have a good Saturn, it will give you longevity of your life and resistance to disease and the ability to recover from the disease. And it gives you also self-control. So that's why when we do the mantras, you're going to be able to have more of a well-placed Saturn by balancing this energy. Now, Rahu can create really mysterious diseases and difficult to treat diseases. It can be epidemics, plagues. It can cause weakness to the immune system, a breakdown of the endocrine system, and it can cause diseases such as cancer. It indicates poisons, pollution, radiation, loss of appetite, and parasites. It can indicate drug use, addictions, and that could be medical or recreational as well. It can cause psychological disorders, nervous disorders, stress, insomnia, bad dreams, palpitations, tremors, insanity, and paralysis. It produces neurosis, hysteria, vertigo, fright, convulsions. When highly afflicted, it can make a person want to end their life or be manic depressive. They're more likely to manifest when there is a conjunction of Rahu and Mars, for example, or Rahu and Saturn. That could be even Rahu in Aries or Rahu in Aquarius, for example, too. So you have to look at that. Also look at the Lord of that house and where the Lord of that house is as well, and that will give you an indication. A well-placed Rahu can give a strong immune system, psychological adaptability, good karma, and access to good health as needed. Mars represents injuries, accidents, those that cause bleeding, anything to do with blood, surgery, infectious diseases with elevated temperature. Remember, Mars is hot. And also a buildup of toxins. Mars causes liver, gallbladder disorders. That could be hepatitis, jaundice, cancer of the liver. It produces toxic blood conditions, acne, boils, herpes. It results in blood disorders, hypertension, stress, stroke, heart attack, and anemia as well. So a lot to do with the blood. A well-placed Mars, on the other hand, is good physical and sexual vitality, athletic ability, capacity, and resistance to disease. So it's very important for your health to have a good place Mars. Another thing you can do is there are mantras that the Vedic system has, the Sanskrit mantras that equal all the chakras. You can find one that will do a complete guided meditation to all of the chakras. And then that way, because the planets equal all the chakras, that way you're balancing everything equally. And that works very, very well. Now there's K2. K2, like Mars, creates mysterious diseases. Collective or psychological imbalances indicate catastrophes, accidents involving large numbers of people. Well, we're seeing that Mars and that K2 conjunction, we saw that it equaled a lot of acts of terrorism. So that's another way that you can actually predict what may happen. So that's why it's wars, it's accidents, neuromuscular disorders, cancers, ones that damage the brain, the nervous system. It's like Mars because it causes infection, bleeding, or toxicity at a deeper level of the blood or the nervous system. Remember, K2 acts like Mars. It can make a person prone to surgery, including wrong surgical practices. A well-placed K2, on the other hand, is resistance to disease, acuity of the mind and senses, physical strength, and agility. It can provide insight, intelligence, and avoid disease-causing factors. Now, the sun is light, it's life. It's the giver of health, vitality, energy. When it's strong, it's overall physical and mental harmony, well-being. When it's afflicted or afflicting other planets in the house of health, Saturn can cause a lot of things just like Mars. It can be the circulatory system, including heart attacks. So a Mars and a Sun usually can cause a heart attack. And I'm not trying to scare anyone if you have this in your chart. There's a lot of different factors. This is just an overall easy way for you to see certain things, but it does depend also on your D9 chart and a few other things as well. But this is just a simplistic way for you to look at the planets and health. It can also give fevers and exhaust body fluids because of its heat. If it's weak or afflicted, it can give chronic and wasting disorders. This can include weak heart, poor digestion, ulcers, degenerated metabolic functions like hypertension or hyperthyroid problems, arthritis, poor vision, or failure of eyesight. Usually in these cases, there's also anemia and resistance to disease is low. So remember, all these planets equal different herbs, and everything can be cured with herbs. You can visit an Ayurveda doctor and they will tell you exactly which herbs you need. I'm not there yet, so I can tell you, but I'm not going to advertise that for a while. The moon mainly makes you very weak, mainly in airy diseases. The lungs may be weak, vital fluids are insufficient, mucous membranes can easily dry or be damaged. There can be asthma, pneumonia, nervous or emotional balances, moodiness, depression, hysteria, often insomnia, bad dreams, and lack of mental calm or peace. When it's strong or badly placed, it can create excessive mucus in the system and swollen lymph glands or the formation of tumors, a lot of water retention, kidney or fluid problems, overweight or inertia. Afflictions to the moon can negatively impact fertility and the reproduction system. A well-placed moon develops a good physique, good vital fluids, emotional balance, mental fortitude, reflecting a good generic inheritance, and access to positive healthcare. A weak Mercury, like moon, it causes airy type diseases, which is weak lungs, a sensitive nervous system. It can result in cough, allergies, both skin and food allergies, and fever. There can be speech defects, hypersensitivity, lack of intelligence, growth difficulties, and poor coordination. These likely develop in childhood. A strong Mercury can give good health, healing powers, mind-body coordination, intelligence, and the ability to handle diseases. Venus, when it's weak, also causes airy problems like kidneys, reproductive system are the main problems. For women, there could be infertility, there could be menstrual irregulation, menstrual pain and cramping, the tendency to miscarriage. For men, there could be impotence, prostate problems, or reproductive limitations. There may be chronic kidney or bladder infections or stones in the urinary tract. The complexion will be poor and the skin will lack moisture or softness. A strong Venus is good health, vitality through a strong reproductive system and an overall good creative energy and the love of life. Now, another important thing is you could have an exalted planet in your D1 chart, but if it is debilitated or it's not strong in your D9, it will reflect that of the D9. So remember, the D9 is a power and the D1 is the screen that it's being projected on. So the screen could be good. You could have a really nice TV, but if you don't have any power, it's not going to be turned on. So think of it in that way. Jupiter is the most positive of health. It's vitality, it's healing, it's good living habits on all levels. A strong Jupiter can migrate from any disease in the chart. So even a good Jupiter could nullify the effects of the other ones, depending on the situation. But if it's poorly disposed, Jupiter can cause watery problems and diseases because it's a planet of expansion. So it can make you overweight. It could give diabetes. It can lead to poor circulation, accumulation of cholesterol, and weak liver. It can cause heart attacks and other problems. Jupiter may cause tumors, and it can give excessive growth in tissues of all kinds. A weak and afflicted by malefic Jupiter causes more airy conditions like the lack of strength, shortness of breath, nervous disorders, and hormonal imbalance. So that's just a little bit about that. If you guys are interested, then I'll go deeper on this subject. It's easy to see certain things in the chart. This may be difficult for some who don't know astrology, but this is also how we're able to predict what may happen in somebody's life. And you can also prevent it by seeing these things as well. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.